Welcome in everyone to the Joseph Vore podcast on the JB Podcast Network. It's episode 1 and get excited because I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of my background, just why I'm doing this podcast. I'm going to be recapping Hard Knocks episode 3 and of course, as promised, a nice little sit-down conversation with my good friend who we will refer to right now as the player to be named later because he wanted to go anonymous here so he can give us his full stories from when he was traveling in Asia and all his crazy nights in Bangkok. So I've come up with a few different aliases, alii, I don't know, whatever it is. I've come up with a few funny names for him, to which we will refer to him as. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy this smooth jazz music and get ready for an epic podcast. All right, everyone, I know this is going to be a little bit boring. I'm just going to rattle off a little bit of my Grindr bio here. No, I'm just kidding. But a little personal background of me. I'm a 21-year-old college student going to be a senior at Arizona State University. I'm studying sports business, but really what I discovered here at school is I didn't want to work for a sports team. I didn't want to do business. I wanted to be in media, and I thought TV was cool for a while, but now I've really realized that working at a media company, whether it's like Barstool Sports or The Ringer, and being able to have my own podcast, being able to blog about certain things and cover just a variety of topics, like I mentioned on that intro episode, sports, pop culture, entertainment, maybe a little bit of politics. I just want to be able to sit down and have long form interviews with people and throw out my crazy Cleveland sports takes. Like you'll hear me all the time calling the Browns America's team or saying how the Cavs are better off without LeBron. Unless you're listening to this, LeBron, then come back. And I love you. Or maybe that if everyone in the state of Ohio chips in $5 to a GoFundMe, maybe the Indians will actually be able to re-sign Francisco Lindor. Who knows? We'll see. And also, those are some crazy takes. You want to hear another one? In-N-Out. Disgustingly overrated. I take a lot of heat for that. But whatever, I don't care. I own up to it. I think it's disgusting. It's a terrible burger. But whatever, that's what I want to be able to talk about. That's what I enjoy consuming, and I want to be able to create content similar to that. And you know, why am I waiting now until my senior year to really get this passion project, I guess you could call it, off the ground? Well, it wasn't until I got this internship this past summer with an awesome media company, the Daily Dropout. And if you don't know who they are, head over to YouTube after you listen to this, subscribe to the Daily Dropout, check out the best prank skits, and you can see me doing interviews in Las Vegas, in Old Town Scottsdale, South Beach, Miami, Florida, and even when I went on spring break to Cabo San Lucas this past March. Check out all those interviews. It's great stuff, guys. But I learned there, you know, how to be able to create something like this. I now have the capabilities and the technology knowledge to be able to pull this off. And I wanted to make it great because I had the idea in my head. I just wasn't sure how to execute it. And now that I do, that's why I'm going all in on this and really going to make this my baby. So that's a little personal background on me. Now let's talk some Hard Knocks, episode 3. And if you guys don't know what Hard Knocks is, it's an HBO special, and they pick an NFL team every year, and they follow them through training camp, through the preseason. And really, you know, they focus on big storylines, but what makes it so great is that they really focus on like the bubble guys, the guys that are kind of teetering on the edge of, are they going to make it past this round of cuts? Will they make the roster? And they really sort of tell those stories, and there's a lot of feel-good stories. And really and they always follow a team that's maybe either ascending or has been struggling for a while. Like when I started watching in 2016, and another thing that's so great about Hard Knocks is that the way that they shoot it, they make it look like these guys who are on the brink of making the roster are going to be like Pro Bowlers, and then they don't even make the roster. Or these teams, they're going to be amazing, and then you look at the records. When I started watching in 2016, the Rams, they went 4-12. The Buccaneers, 5-11. Last year, my Cleveland Browns went 7-8-1, and you're saying, well, that didn't make the playoffs. It wasn't a winning record. Well, shut up, because we won 4 games in 3 years. That's actually pretty good. So what will the Raiders be? I don't know. They're much improved. Obviously, they have Antonio Brown, which leads me into why the Oakland Raiders are so interesting. They have John Gruden. They have a big personality as their head coach. They have Antonio Brown, who's really just been a drama fiasco, really just a middle school girl with guy troubles since probably the last few weeks of the season last year when he's still with the Steelers. And, and then there's all this stuff going on with his feet, the frostbite that he got in this hyperbaric chamber. And, the Raiders, they have an incredibly passionate fan base. And now they're moving to Vegas. And let me tell you guys, last time I was in Vegas, I saw the stadium being built. It is right off the highway. So if you're out and you're done off the hot hand at the blackjack, roulette table, craps table, whatever it is, so take the time, sober up, and if it's going into Sunday morning, it's game day, I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 in the morning, whatever it is, head over to the airport, get there early, avoid the traffic, or jump in your car and head back to Arizona or Southern California or wherever you came from, because it is going to be an absolute shit show trying to get there on Sundays coming up in the next few years when they fully make the move to Vegas. So it's going to be nothing to mess with. But, again, in this episode, and I love how they started off, Frank Caliendo, who's a comedian and does impressions, he does a great John Gruden. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys, but watch the episode or go on YouTube and just look up Frank Caliendo. He does impressions of anyone, and you're going to need to block out like 2 hours of your day because you're just going to go down this rabbit hole and you're not going to be able to stop watching. He is that good. Then we saw more of the Antonio Brown helmet fiasco. He has a helmet that's too old. It can't get certified. He's making a big deal about it. He's been threatening to walk away from football altogether, which is incredible. He's going to be leaving millions upon millions of dollars out there over a helmet. It's crazy. John Gruden, he's standing by Antonio Brown. But after this latest one, the general manager, Mike Mayhawk, came out and said, well, it's about time he's all in or all out. Those are some pretty strong words. So we're going to see how it all plays out. But like I said, Hard Knocks is all about the feel-good underdog story. We have one guy, Darren Waller, classic story, incredibly talented, but got into substance abuse, went to rehab, and now he's having a great camp. And this isn't a guy teetering. He's fighting to be a star, possibly a starter. He's had a terrific camp, and it really seems like he has his life on the right track. But the one big problem I have with this guy is one of the coaches dropped a Fight Club line on him from the movie, went totally over his head. I'm like, oh, I want to like you, man, but you got to know Fight Club. Brad Pitt. It's classic. Got to check that out. And also, Hunter Renfrow. I love this guy. Great white hope at wide receiver. He was a beast at Clemson. This isn't a guy trying to make the roster. He's going to be a really solid contributor from the slot for the Raiders this year. He's 5'10", 185. He's got a receding hairline. He's not cut. He's not lean. He looks like a 36-year-old guy who manages a bank that's located inside a grocery store. But he's out there just making defensive backs look silly, and he gets out in open space, and he's crafty, and he's elusive. This guy's a beast. Game-winning touchdown. Remember that against Alabama in college? Won 2 national titles. Hunter Renfrow. Great white American hope. So that's enough Hard Knocks. At the end, the Raiders, they dominated against the Arizona Cardinals, and they dominated number 1 pick and rookie Kyler Murray. Boy, did they look bad. The Cardinals have a mess of an offensive line. Ugh, it's sickening to talk about. But whatever. The Raiders are now 2-0. We'll see how that continues to rock. But that's enough Hard Knocks, like I said. Let's go ahead and get to this player to be named later. I'm going to hit him with some aliases, alii, whatever it is. So let's do this. The interview with the player to be named later. All right, everyone. So as promised, we are here with the player to be named later. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good to see you. Let's catch up. You've had some crazy stories, some crazy business ventures, but we want to find out what we're going to refer to you as. So I came up with 2. Is it aliases?
I think it's aliases.
Okay, I'll go with that. But I came up with a few here. The first one, now if you choose this one, just be cautious because this one is near and dear to my heart. This is, if I ever was a porn star, this would be my porn name. It's David Chicago.
David Chicago.
So David Chicago is one of your options. And then the other one, the funny story is, so, like at the beginning of, it's a lot of like Will Ferrell and like Adam McKay movies, Gary Sanchez productions.
Okay, gotcha.
So the funny thing about Gary Sanchez is I actually listened to a podcast with Adam McKay who like directed like Step Brothers and all
great movies.
Awesome movies, right? So I always thought I always told my buddy, he was so funny, like Gary Sanchez Productions, because we'll see a lot of the movies together. I'm just like, what happens if that's just an alias or something like Will Ferrell made up? And one time I was listening to Bill Simmons and he had Adam McKay on and they were talking about it. He goes, Oh yeah, that's like Will's alias when he used to like check in at hotels. You know, you would look at the, you know, what room he was in. You couldn't find Will Ferrell. It was just Gary Sanchez, and it like blew my mind. So like that's always one of my go-to like alias for someone. Or if I don't know someone's name, I'll just say like Gary Sanchez or whatever. So, you know, I wanted to come up with something that had a, you know, a little cool story behind it. So are we going Gary or David here?
I'm going Gary.
Okay.
Gary Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez. How's
Mr.
that?
Sanchez will work.
All right, Mr. Sanchez. So we're catching up here. I want to start by talking about this kind of entrepreneur route that you've gone. This fulfillment by Amazon and Amazon FBA. Can you just like explain to me and explain to everyone listening just like what that is?
Yeah, so little background was I was just looking up how to make money online. I really like traveling, really wanted to be able to make money online. So I wanted to be able to work from my computer. So I looked up how to make money online in Google. Amazon FBA was the first result, and I looked it up. So fulfillment by Amazon means that Amazon basically does all the fulfillment side of things for you. So they will deal with customer service, they'll deal with sending the products to customers, and all of that. So all you have to do is you just have to get the product to the Amazon warehouse one way or another. Now, I do online arbitrage as well as private labeling. Those are two different routes in themselves. With online arbitrage, you usually buy it from a third-party source, whether that's eBay or Craigslist. Then you get it shipped to you, you inspect it all, and then you send out a big inventory amount to Amazon every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. And the private labeling side is where you deal with Chinese manufacturers. So I find them through Alibaba, and then you basically do quality control, product sampling, product photography, and then from there you get the product sent from the Chinese manufacturer to the Amazon warehouse. And then after that, Amazon takes care of everything. The only thing you got to do is you just got to monitor, make sure prices are good, make sure sales are good, make sure everything's going according to plan. But besides that, it's really just a lot of upfront work. And then after that, Amazon does everything themselves.
Now, in the online world that we live in, and you know, you're looking up things, and there's so many things that are, you know, scams nowadays, and you know, the whole like that one girl you went to high school with who's now doing mid-level marketing or Ponzi scheme or whatever it may be. Now, were you skeptical? Did you have to do a lot of digging and research just to make sure? Because like Amazon FBA, and when we've talked about it before, now you're explaining it again, it's one of those things that could like put off a lot of alarms, a lot of red flags. You're like, whoa, this may be a little too good to be true. So did you do your homework, or did you just start out small and it was trial and error? Like, how did you really make sure like this was legit? Like obviously Amazon, everyone knows Amazon, it's a legit company, but you just wanted to make sure the process, like this process, you know, there wasn't anything below the surface from like the initial research that you did.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is a lot of the stuff you do see online, a lot of people are just trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
So I was worried that, okay, you know, this is another scam, you know, another Ponzi scheme, another multi-level marketing scheme. So I started small. So I started with only $200, and then I worked my way up from there, because I realized there's no point in starting with a big financial investment, because if things go wrong, then I'd be out a lot of money. But if I start out small, you know, I could throw around a few $100 and I wouldn't really be too worried about anything. The guy who actually mentored me, paid him $500. He showed me the ropes, but I'm doing 5 times the amount of sales he's doing right now. So he left a lot of things out, and he isn't taking it nearly as seriously as I am, that's why I was able to scale it as quickly as I was in the 10 months.
Because this is like your full-time thing.
Yeah, that's my full-time thing. As of March, I quit my valet job that I was using to pay for my school, and I stopped pursuing finance. I was trying to work in the financial world, stopped pursuing that, and now I just do this full-time. So I realized the potential for it, and I scaled it up to where I'm doing $50,000 a month right now, and it just keeps growing every month. So I realized that there is a potential to make a lot of money here, and I just had to believe in myself and take the risk and realize if I put all my eggs in this basket, I don't have a plan B. And I realized that, okay, you know, I can make a lot of money from this. I just wanted to go full in with this, and I didn't want to worry or regret, like, okay, what if I put more time into this? This could have been my full-time job, and I wouldn't have to be working at a desk or for another person.
Right, absolutely, and I admire what you've done. And you know, there's been some people, you know, I don't think it's like from anywhere bad, but you know, people are skeptical. They're always just like, what's he doing, and things like that. One of our friends actually messaged me. He like sent me one of your Instagram stories. It was funny. It was just like, is Dean like, is he tied up with some bad people right now or whatever? I'm gonna have to bleep that out. I have to bleep that name out, Mr. Sanchez. But yeah, they. But yeah, I was just like, no, I think he just, was like, dude, I'm just like, he's a smart guy. Like, he obviously like figured it out and he's doing well, and I think what I admire so much about you is, since the dawn of time, there's always people that are a lot of talk, and I feel like with our generation, you're living the dream. It's, people want to be able to make a ton of money. They want to, if you can do it passively, like sign me up. And people want to be able to travel, and you all those boxes for you are checked, and you're 21 freaking years old.
Exactly.
Like that's amazing, and you're traveling. So like, there's skepticism from other people, but like, I know I'm kind of rambling on here, but can you talk about like, was it an easy decision for you, or was it like, when you talk about putting all your eggs in one basket, no matter how big or small that is, like that's a big decision. You're going all in on something. Of
course, yeah.
Like, what was there ever like a feeling in your stomach, or at any time where you were just like, man, maybe I made the wrong decision here?
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that honestly, still to this day, I still honestly second guess myself, and I still worry about everything. Which realistically, if you weren't worrying about something, I don't think you're taking a big enough risk. Because if you're worried, because if you're not worried about it, then you're too comfortable, right? And then it's really easy to get complacent. And especially when I'm working a valet job and I'm doing this on the side, and I'm making good money. I'm not doing nearly as much as I'm doing now, but I was making about $10,000 a month between all avenues, between Amazon and valet, and it was easy to get comfortable.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is I realized, okay, if I can scale this to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month, I can live the life I actually want to live. So I just had to take that risk, and I realized the potential on the internet. And the thing is, 99% of the world is consumers, so you got to be a producer if you want to actually make it to the top. If you want to actually be a real entrepreneur, you got to be a producer instead of a consumer. So there's nothing wrong with not going out and not starting your own business, but that's just what I wanted to do. I realized the potential with Amazon. It's really simple I wouldn't say it's simple, it's really easy once you get down to it. There's a lot of steps involved,
right.
But once you figure out how to do it, it's really easy. It just makes so much sense once you do it the first time, and you're like, wow, how come everyone else isn't doing this? That's literally what I think about every single day is, why isn't everyone else doing what I'm doing? Because everything's just right in front of you, and all you got to do is you really just have to start and then get going on it. So that's what I preach to people. I kept a really low key business for about 6-7 months. I didn't tell a lot of people about it. I know
right.
I mentioned some stuff to you when I first started back when we were in Vegas and everything, but Vegas, what a trip. but before I actually launched my course and everything, which I launched it in July, no one really knew about anything.
Right.
No one knew exactly what I was doing. They all wondered, like, what's he doing for his money? How's he able to travel and all this? But yeah, that's the thing, is I didn't want to be that guy who just started talking about it 2 months after I got in and I was making a few $1,000s a month. I wanted to wait until I had a proven business, until I had proven sales. And I've already done well over $250,000 in sales in 10 months. So now I realize, I'm like, okay, now I can start putting some stuff out there. I have a little bit more credibility to my name. And I can start advertising this more and selling a course and teaching people how to do this. Because that's the biggest thing, is people just don't understand how to do it. So I felt, why not create a course? There's tons of other courses and stuff out there. But the majority of these courses, all these gurus, they don't actually help you out. They have you buy their video course and they never help you out personally. That's what I personally like doing, is I help people out. I make sure that they have success in doing this, because I make enough money from Amazon to where if the course didn't sell, I'd be fine. I wouldn't be hurting money-wise. But I want to be able to help people out, and there's tons of products on Amazon to sell. It would be impossible for me to sell every single product on Amazon.
Right.
So why not let other people, let our friends, let other people in the world know about this and be able to supplement their income, make an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, because that $1,000, $2,000 a month can be used for a mortgage payment, could be used for a car payment, could be used for traveling. It's really not that hard either. Once you figure out how to do it all, and you have the steps laid out for you, it's just right in front of you. So that's why I felt like once I got to a point where I had enough credibility, it was time to tell people what I was doing and time to help some people out.
Right. And before we get into traveling, real quick, I want to give you the option. There's probably only like 5 people listening to this, but if you're comfortable, if it doesn't give away your identity, Mr. Sanchez, if you want to put, like, where can you want to give out, like, where people can find your program or whatever? Because I've checked it out. It's awesome stuff. And like you mentioned, there's options in there and resources in there where you can be very hands-on, and you're very, very helpful. It is actually an awesome program, because I've checked it out, personally, obviously. So if you want to do that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so far, if anyone's listening to this podcast this far.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you probably already know who I am. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it. So my name is Dean Deepole. So if you just go to my Instagram, Dean, Dean, DIEPHOLZ. You'll see all the information on there. I have free training, I have a free ebook, a free webinar to kind of get you going. And then if you actually want personal help, I compare this to personal training. If you go to a gym, start working out with a personal trainer, your results are definitely going to be a lot faster than if you were to go in and start working by yourself, start working out by yourself. So the same thing with this course. You can figure out how to do everything by yourself, but the issue is if you want to get accelerated results and you want to get everything off the ground really quickly, you might as well have someone help you out. And when I started, I had a mentor who did not help me out that much, but he still helped me out to a point to where I could get started. And I wish someone like me was able to help me out when I first started, because I would have been able to scale it a lot faster.
Right.
So my Instagram, again, Dean Deeples. I have everything linked in my bio, my free training, my free ebook, my YouTube as well. So if you're this far into the podcast, you already know who I am. So it's not a big deal, but no one's going to be able to find it with just searching my name. You're going to have to watch this far into the podcast to get this free info.
Yeah, you have to be pretty committed. And then, your program is great. Like I said, it isn't, it's not like super cheap, but compared to some of the programs that are out there, and especially the value that you're giving, I think it's awesome. And really you're learning, it's part of the investment to get started with the business if you're actually serious about it. So in the grand scheme of things, it could be a very small investment with tremendous upside. So that's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Exactly. I paid $500 for someone to help me out, and I thought that was a lot of money, but once you start looking at the money and you're doing $50,000 a month, that $500 is pretty small. So, I sell the course for $397, $100 cheaper than what I paid for, and I offer more personal help. I give you a product to start selling when you first start out, so you don't have to.
That's huge. Exactly. Just to get started and really kind of get a feel for it.
Exactly. So you don't have to worry about anything, and you can put some money into that product and get a feel for it, like you said, and just go from there.
If you're so worried about the process, you could just buy one of those products, sell it just to see how it works, just to get used to it. And then if you F it up or whatever, you could be out, depending on what you pay for it, maybe at the most like $50.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's not huge risk at all.
Exactly. It's not a big
financial risk. And it's really tough to mess it up.
Exactly. It's really tough to mess it up.
If you follow.
Yeah, if you have me helping you out along the way, you ask for my help, after you buy the course and everything, there's no way you're going to be able to mess stuff up.
Right.
So even if you're out $50, that's not a big financial investment. Most people can make that easily in a day. So that's the thing is you don't need a lot of money to be successful starting out with online arbitrage on Amazon FBA. So that's what I try and preach to people: make some good supplement income and live the life they want to live, get the car they want, the house they want, they get to travel, everything. It's perfect.
Boom, prestige worldwide. That's the
that's
the pitch right there.
Prestige worldwide.
Okay, nice. Wide. Black leather gloves. Like the whole pitch.
Love that movie.
Yeah, our music video is coming out soon.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Hose and boats.
Yeah,
we're just flipping so we don't get copyrighted there.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about your traveling.
What everyone wants to hear.
Yeah, so you have crazy stories, but you travel for free? How do you do this?
So this is another. I put out a YouTube video about this actually.
Checked it out.
Great if you put all your expenses on a credit card, you don't need a business. You can just do this with your personal expenses, right? Like you don't have to be interested at all in Amazon. If you put all your personal expenses on a travel credit card, travel reward credit card, I use the Platinum.
Now, disclaimer: you got to be able to pay it back.
Yeah, don't
be like, well, these two idiots on a podcast, so we just throw it on a credit card. We're fine.
Don't go into credit card debt because you can't get out of it once you're in there.
Make sure
it's a
you
big
can
hole.
pay it back.
Yeah,
that's all you got to be able to do. Okay, now go ahead.
So I use the Platinum American Express because I found
that tough to get approved. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, of course.
Is that tough to get approved?
It's not. It's really not that tough to get approved.
Because I feel like people hear American Express and that's like the card of the card in terms of credit card.
Yeah. So the only thing is there's an annual fee. So if you're not putting a lot of money into it, it's not worth getting.
Right. Exactly.
The reason I prefer American Express is because their points are universal. You can use them for any airline, any hotel.
That's incredible.
Well, if you use a different card, for instance, I used to use the Citi American Airlines Advantage card. You can only use that with American Airlines.
Right.
So I used that starting out, and I was flying only American, which is great because you can fly international with American. Everything, it's great.
Right.
But with American Express, I can fly in any airline in the world, and so their points are universal. So right now, I'm racking up $30,000-$40,000 in expenses on my credit card.
Is that a point for a dollar? Is that how it works?
It's a point for a
That's
dollar.
incredible. That's incredible.
So between all four of my LLCs, all four of my companies, I'm racking up about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of points, and I'm putting that amount of money on the card. So a round trip ticket from LAX to Tokyo is, I believe, 70,000 points. I believe that's what I said in the video when I was showing the chart. And I believe it's 70,000 points. So if you rack up, for instance, 60,000 points every 2 months, that's a round trip flight to Tokyo from LAX, and you don't need to go to Tokyo every year.
No.
So exactly. So if you can rack up 60,000 points and you just keep saving up, you'll eventually have 300, 400,000 points, and you could even fly business class if you wanted to for free.
You can do it up.
For free, exactly. You can live the luxury lifestyle. Or if you want to go economy like me, 21 years old, I'll tough it out on a 14-hour flight.
Big deal, yeah.
I'll tough it out. I'll just I'll toss back about 3 times a dose of melatonin, put some noise canceling headphones on with the sound machine, and I'll pass out.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's how I fly for free and everything. It's crazy, It's you spend more money on a credit card, you just get free points. So I always preach to people, never put money on a debit card, never pay with cash, put everything on a credit card, because it's literally free money they're giving you. Of course, as long as you can pay it back.
Yeah, you gotta be. That is the if. That's the but here. That's the catch. So you just went on. What was it? You were gone. You did like 2 or 3 weeks worth of travel.
I was gone for 15 days exactly.
And where all did you go?
So flew into Hong Kong, 14-hour layover there. Met up with.
On a layover like that, that's long like that.
Yep.
I followed, obviously your Instagram, and I was seeing some stuff. You went to some places like, have you been to Hong Kong before?
Yeah, so this is my second time in Hong Kong.
Okay, so you kind of knew like what to do. So what was the move when you have those 14 hours?
So my end goal, so I planned out to have a 14-hour layover because I realized,
smart.
Okay, that's enough time to go into the city and do everything. Because if you have about a 4-hour layover, it's not worth leaving the airport.
And you've been there before.
Exactly.
So you know where to go. You don't have as much to do.
It was perfect.
14 hours, boom.
It was perfect. So first stop when I got into Hong Kong, I saw my tailor, Sam's Tailor. Shout out to Sam's Tailor.
You have to get him on here.
Yeah, you got to get him on here.
I was seeing some of the names that he's worked with. I'm like, Sam's Tailor. Love that.
It's crazy. They've done a lot of celebrities. John Hamm, a ton of guys, for instance. That's just one of the names.
That's awesome.
So I went and met my tailor, got a suit made, $500, fully bespoke custom suit. They get it done in 24 hours.
Wow.
So they measured me up.
Incredible.
So they measured me up when I got there, got the suit, and then came back 6 hours later, and then they did the first fitting, and then after that, they shipped it overnight to my house in Scottsdale, and that was it. And it's amazing, fully bespoke custom suit. I can't recommend getting a suit made in Hong Kong enough. It's extremely cheap too. For the higher quality material, it was $500 for a nice 2-piece suit. It's my second time getting a suit made from him. So
is that the one did you rock one of those in Vegas? That blue one?
Yeah,
sexy.
That flashy blue one. Yeah,
that was pretty. So many compliments on the elevator.
Exactly.
So it was beautiful.
So many nice compliments. And that flashy blue, it's perfect for Vegas.
It lit
next
up.
Next time I'm gonna get a red velvet for Vegas. Full red velvet pants, or some corduroy.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, next Vegas trip I'm gonna have to do a big with that. But so
we'll have to room together again. That was fun.
Exactly. So we'll have to do a big, get some custom suits, go out, go out with the bang, senior year.
That's right.
So, but I highly recommend getting a suit made in Hong Kong. They're known for their tailors, but after that, I basically had the whole day to explore. So I went around, had some great food. Hong Kong has some great food. Humid as hell in Hong Kong. It's hot as hell. It's 90 degrees with 80% humidity right being on the water. So you walk outside for 5 minutes, you're drenched in sweat.
It's like a swamp. It's like Florida.
Yeah, it's literally like you walk outside in a steam room, in a sauna. So you just got to prepare for that. You're going to get sweaty. But the benefit of the Platinum American Express card is you can get lounge access. So in the Hong Kong airport, they have a Centurion Lounge, showers. Showered when I landed, and then when I left, showered again. So I didn't have to worry about getting sweaty. It was fantastic. Highly recommend getting a rewards credit card. I can't preach it enough. So that's what I did in Hong Kong. Been there before. I love the city, great city. Yeah. Luckily, I wasn't involved in any of the riots. I didn't see any of that going on.
Jeez.
It seems like it was a Thursday when I was there. Everyone who was rioting had to be at work, so they usually riot on the weekends. So it really wasn't an issue for me, but it was fantastic though. Hong Kong's a great city. I highly recommend going there. So I planned that out, and then flew to Bangkok.
Okay.
Met up with one of our other good friends, Connor. We were in Bangkok for 3 days. Crazy stories. I'll get into that.
Like what's the Hangover 2 song? It's like one night in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Ed Helms. Yeah. Shout out Ed Helms. What's up?
Bangkok, crazy city. If you see anything about Bangkok, it's probably true.
Yeah.
It's like Vegas. What happens in Bangkok stays in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And then we went to Phuket, Thailand, which is a little island town there. Fantastic, great beaches, great scuba diving. And then went to Singapore. And then on my way back, I had an 18-hour layover in Doha, Qatar. Again, planned that out as well.
Perfect.
But I slept in Qatar that night, so I got in about 3 p.m.
Okay.
And the thing with Qatar is they're trying to promote their tourism. So I got a 5-star resort, nice room, luxury room for $20 a night. It was amazing.
And that's sort of another, like, I kind of want you to myth bust this a little bit. I feel like if you find the right places and you really do your homework and plan it out, traveling to all these crazy places, from America isn't as crazy and unattainable as, some may think. They'll never think, I can never afford that. Like, everything is just beyond expensive. Really, if you got to find the flight at the right time, then it sounds like once you get over there, it's not as bad as maybe you would think.
Exactly. So that's the thing, is even if you don't use a reward credit card to fly for free, I use Google Flights. That's what I started out using, and you can get crazy flights. So round trip right now from Phoenix to Shanghai, China, $400 round trip.
That's nothing.
Exactly, $400. A lot of times Phoenix to New York is more than that.
Yeah.
And this is round trip too. So it's not. This is everything. This is all fees included, 2 checked bags and everything. So
wow.
$400 round trip for the flight, and you can stay in a hotel, Airbnb. You can get a decently nice place for $15-20 a night. I stayed in Bangkok for $10 a night for a hotel room. It was perfect. Had a bed, had towels, had a shower, had AC. Couldn't ask for anything else. And then once you get over there, the only thing you got to worry about is food expenses. If you go to Europe, it might be a little bit more expensive.
Right.
But in Thailand, you can get great meals for $1.50, $2.
What kind of? I saw once again, referencing your social media again. You and Connor.
Yeah.
You guys were eating some crazy stuff. Were you like, what the hell am I putting in my mouth? Like, talk about some of the animals and insects and stuff you were eating.
So in Bangkok, they like eating insects. But to start off, we had crocodile, because that was the first thing we saw. Crocodile, if you've never had it tastes like a mix between, just imagine you're eating a ribeye steak, but in chicken form. So it's white meat ribeye steak, basically.
It probably has to feel so weird, because you see it looks like chicken.
Yep.
And then you don't get the chicken taste. You're probably like, it throws you off a little bit, but it sounds terrific.
Oh no, it was great, and they lathered it up in good sauce. It tasted really good. Yeah. And then
this was like right off the street?
Oh yeah, this was a street vendor cart and everything.
Awesome.
It was crazy. They just literally were cooking it on the side of the street in Khao San Road, big party street. You'll hear that name come up here in the future. But and then we went to a little bit more of the adventurous. So Connor ate a scorpion about the size of my hand. Pretty crazy.
That's terrifying.
Pretty crazy.
Do they like fry it? Like, how do they cook it?
I'm not entirely sure how they cook it. That's what I always wondered. Whether they air dry it or sun dry it or however they do that. But I know they spray soy sauce on it and put some salt on it to kind of get the flavor in, and then you just chew on it. And it really doesn't. I didn't have the scorpion, so I can't attest for this.
It looks terrifying. I
ate some crickets and some worms, and it literally just tastes like you're eating a potato chip that tastes like soy sauce and salt, but like it kind of tastes like plastic.
So do they just really try to mask how disgusting these things are with soy sauce and salt?
I think so, but the weird thing is you think it's just a tourist scheme, selling bugs, but I see locals eating it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like, that's not like a, haha, we gotcha.
Exactly.
Everyone eats it.
It's weird. That's just part of their culture, So you just got to try it out, and I definitely recommend doing it. If you're a lot more adventurous, you could eat some big centipedes, some scorpions, some tarantula, but I usually tried to stay for something that was not as big as my hand, because I didn't want to put a whole scorpion in my mouth and chew on it.
Let's talk nightlife.
Nightlife? Oh.
Yeah, let's get to it, because this is the best stuff. We've been teasing the audience here, and this is teasing me. I want to hear these crazy stories. Let's talk about this street. What goes on once the sun goes down here.
Khao San Road. Let's just say if you have money, you can do whatever you want. That's there's 2 main areas in Bangkok that are famous for the partying. There's Khao San Road and Soy Cowboy. We went to a sky bar called the Banyan Tree, I'm not entirely sure, by Soy Cowboy. Okay. And we ended up going back to Khao San Road at night, but the sky bar is where I met the first girl. We'll go ahead and call her Thai Lady number 1.
Perfect. And it's like a script for like a super small part. You just see the credits at the end.
Yeah.
It says schoolgirl number 1. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That reminds me of.
So she was alone at the top of the sky bar. And the thing with Thailand, you have to realize, is ladyboys is what they call them over there.
Yeah.
That's the proper name they give them over there. That's the proper name. It's a real thing in Thailand. So you got 33% guys, 33% girls, and 33% ladyboys.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, maybe don't look. Just go watch Hangover 2.
Yeah, watch.
It'll put it all in perspective.
You'll get a feel for Bangkok and for Thailand after you watch Hangover 2.
Yeah.
So Sky Bar, saw this girl alone. felt the need to go talk to her. The only issue is a lot of the girls in Thailand, a lot of them that are by themselves in the big bar areas, they're prostitutes.
Yeah.
So
is that legal over there?
Yep. There's really no laws in Thailand.
Yeah.
No street laws or anything. Yeah.
It's anarchy.
You can do whatever you want.
Oh my god.
Very corrupt too.
Oh my god. I imagine so.
Yeah. So if you do get into trouble, a little money here and there will kind of get you out of some trouble.
Yeah.
So I went to go talk to her, worrying about, okay, is this a prostitute or not? Well, things went well with that. Ended up getting her number, and she met us on Khao San Road, which, back to the Khao San Road, like I said, I bring this name back up. This is a big party street. If you want to kind of get an experience for it, you can go watch my YouTube video and see there's clubs everywhere, bars everywhere, people walking in the street, girls grabbing your arms. And a lot of the girls, they're either ladyboys or prostitutes. You really can't tell. And they grab your arm.
I can tell, though. You were telling me some stuff. What's sort of the giveaway?
So the main giveaway for the ladyboys you have to be careful of is their hands. Because they get their Adam's apple removed. You really can't tell. But their hands, they still got big hands. Mm-hmm. So you can't change that. So that's the main giveaway. But you're walking along these streets and you see these girls in the street and they just grab your arm and they say, "Come here, big boy. Come here, big boy." And
how
they just
enticing.
Exactly. And you're just very intrigued at that point. So met back up with Thai girl number 1, and well, things went well with that.
Terrific.
At the bars and everything. She ended up being very wealthy, so she paid for everything. Ended up going back to her condo.
Did that scare you in the moment? You're like,
it did.
Okay.
It did.
I don't want to be, quote unquote, like indebted here, whether it's money or by actions. Like what's the catch here? Why is she paying for all this stuff? What is she expecting? To be honest, I was scared. I was like, why is she paying for it? And then she invited me back to her condo. And that's the big no-no in Thailand. But unfortunately, I had one too many alcohols, as I like to call them. Alcohols.
And
adult pops.
Yeah, adult pops. And I was not in the best frame of judgment. So I was worried, but she ended up just kept paying for stuff. She kept paying for stuff, so I just ended up going with it. Funny story, before we went back, she actually bought some bugs and she ate some crickets in the taxi back to her condo. And so, like I said, it's not a tourist thing. Yeah. The locals actually eat it. So we did that, ended up going back to her place and all of that. A big scare in Thailand that you have to worry about is, let's fast forward a little bit through a couple weeks now. A big scare in Thailand you have to worry about is they have a lot of STD problems over there. Yeah. So, I had her number and everything, and she sent me a picture of her in the hospital. So my first thought is, oh no, something happened. Yeah. Something happened. She sent me a picture, right? And then so I asked her, and she says, don't worry, no STD. So I was like, oh, thank God. But then she said, I will die soon. And I said, what? I said, what? And then she told me she had terminal cancer. It was the most crazy thing. God. I felt absolutely terrible. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
what do you even what the hell goes through your head?
Exactly. I may have only talked to her.
You feel sick to your stomach. You have to feel so bad.
I may have only talked to her for an hour or so in Thailand, but when she tells me that, I gotta feel upset.
That's a gut wrench.
It is. So when she told me that, I just didn't know, and I'll talk to her here and there when she needs some talking to, but I don't. It's kind of, I stay away from that now.
Yeah. No. Gosh.
So that was a crazy night in Bangkok.
Where'd she get all her money?
So
doesn't she have an interesting story?
Yeah. So actually, her dad is a Canadian real estate developer. Yeah. Where he was very wealthy, and he was in Thailand, I believe in Bangkok as well, 20 years ago. So she was actually 40 years old. So yeah, I went for twice my age here. I was swinging for my fences, the fences here.
Cougar.
And so yeah, and she had a rich dad, and apparently he got a Thai girl pregnant back when he was in Thailand when he was 20 years old, and he just moved back to Canada and basically just kept giving her money. So she doesn't do anything. Her dad just gives her a lot of money.
At least props to him.
Exactly.
Give money. Most people want it.
Exactly. They would just leave the baby there. But yeah, he provided for it and everything, so good for him. So yeah, that was kind of a crazy story with that. And I was only in Bangkok for realistically 3 nights, and that was the last night, and it was,
oh my God.
I was like, wow, this is Thailand.
Yeah.
So then we ended up going to Phuket, so that's where Connor was working at. Yep. So we went to Phuket, Thailand, had a great time there. So Phuket, also famous for partying. Their big street there for partying is Bangla Road, is what they call it. So
for those of you that are taking notes at home.
This is Bangla Road if you want to go and have some fun. So, Thailand's a beautiful country. There's a lot to do during the day. This is just the nightlife scene where if you want to have some fun at night, you can. And I figured, you might as well experience what their culture, I wouldn't say what their culture is known for, but there's a lot of local people who promote this. So you might as well go out and experience it for some shits and giggles, let's call it.
Yeah, and I love that about you guys. Like, you're going out there, like you talked about last time we talked a little bit, we're going to go out, we're going to see, some of the historical, like pretty stuff, like the temples and things like that you talked about. But it's like, no, we are throwing ourselves into the eye of the hurricane here, and we are going to totally live it up. We are just going to immerse ourselves in this culture and go out and have fun. And not everyone that does that, whether they're studying abroad or traveling, they have more of a mild trip.
Exactly.
And I know you got your back here, you're a little bit, more calm, can be a little bit more reserved, but you're like, I'm going to live it up to the fullest. And I think that's awesome. Like, that's what you have to do, I feel like. Like, you can't miss out on that.
Exactly. So that's the thing is, if you're in another country, you might as well go out and try. You hear all these crazy stories about Bangkok or in Thailand in general.
Right.
So you might as well go out and do it. If it's that's not your scene, don't do it. I'm not judgmental. If you want to go out there, experience the temples, experience the cultures, just have a nice laid back time, go to the beach, go out and do it. I'm not judgmental. You can do whatever you want, but I wanted to go out and have some partying, have some fun, while young. Exactly. So fast forward to Tuesday night on Bangla Road. We went to a big club, one of the famous clubs there called Illusion. It's a big club, big Western style club
where they even have big name DJs there, like Marshmello has actually DJ'd there. Yeah, so it's literally like the Vegas, but over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the
yeah,
Eastern.
it's crazy. So they have a lot of big name people over there. I think it was ranked in the top 60 best 100 clubs in the world. So it's got a lot of recognition.
That's legit, yeah.
So their catch is up until 11 p.m. It's unlimited drinks. So great place for pre-gaming and only $20. $20 US for unlimited drink. So, if you go to Vegas, you'll pay $20 for a single drink.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, they'll be like, you got $5 more?
Exactly.
For this tequila soda, you peasant.
Yeah, and there's no tipping either in Thailand either. So $20 is $20.
It's just straight up.
You pay $20 for a wristband and you get housed.
Yeah.
So we got housed.
Gosh.
And then we went to something called a ping pong show. For all of you who don't know,
it's not table tennis.
No, it's not table tennis. It's girls make things appear from. I'll let you kind of figure out where they come from. So
use your imagination.
Yeah. So for instance, there was a frog. We saw
a frog.
A frog. A live frog. That was the first one. Kind of blew my mind. I was like, all right. And then a bird, a small bird.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
A little birdie came out of the birdhouse.
Yep. So there's
Jesus.
So it's kind of crazy, and then I feel terrible for these girls. You can just tell they're not having fun.
Oh no, yeah, that's sad.
I was there, and I just felt, oh, this is disgusting. Why am I here? And then they get to the water bottle where they kind of swish water around and put it back, and then they offer it to the crowd. And there was some adventurous young fellow who felt the need to try some of the water.
He was parched.
Yeah.
He needed a sip.
Yep. So he was thirsty, He quenched his thirst.
That's disgusting.
And then the next thing they did was they had cigarettes where they smoked cigarettes.
Is that a genetic thing? Like, you show up at the first day at university, school. What's a special skill? Like, my mom could smoke cigarettes with not her mouth.
Yeah.
So I also can smoke cigarettes with not my mouth.
Yeah, it just gets passed down the generation.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And the same guy who drank the water felt the need to take some hit of the cigarettes. Man. And he did.
His mouth is probably swollen shut now with just disgusting diseases.
Oh, I can imagine. So fast forward, actually, this guy, I swear, there has to have been, I'm 95% sure, fast forward, I saw this guy on my flight to Singapore. I was 95% sure. Not only was he on my flight to Singapore, there was a little kid with him. He had a baby and a wife. So whether or not it was the same guy, I'm 95% sure. 95. He looked exactly the same. He was with the same people, I think, that he was with that night. And he was on the flight with a kid and his wife. So whether he wanted to go out and have some fun with his boys, whether it was a bachelor party, I have no idea. Either way, hey man, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
When he went to the bathroom, did you pass a little note over there like, hey, you should probably get tested?
Yeah.
And don't let him kiss your child.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I made sure to let him know. Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Thailand. Thailand is a crazy place, and if you have money, you can do whatever you want.
It sounds like it.
and there are no rules.
Oh my gosh.
And there's nothing holding anyone back. And then the next place I went to was Singapore. Singapore is a very first world country.
Yeah, Singapore is pretty.
Yeah, great country. You know, they filmed Crazy Rich Asians there. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably seen that.
Right, great film.
So
Highly recommend it.
So yeah, that's where they filmed that. They're very first world. Everything was nice and clean. They're very respectable. If you go to Asia, well, for instance, Singapore, first world country in Asia, don't mess with drugs. In Singapore, they're very strict on their laws there. Spitting, not allowed. Chewing gum, not allowed.
I had some cousins, my aunt, uncle, and some cousins. They lived there. My uncle's job moved him there. And one year for Christmas, they bought me this shirt with all like the crazy laws that are in Singapore. Like you said, was jaywalking, chewing gum, spitting. Like that's like a fine. Like it's like
hefty
fine. Serious. Yeah,
it's a hefty fine. But drugs, they do not mess with drugs. When you come in and you fill out the immigration card, there's a big red circle that says drugs equal death penalty. So
wow.
Don't mess with drugs if you go to Singapore. That's all I can tell you. It's not worth it.
Jeez.
But like I said, Singapore is a great country. It's amazing, clean. People are really nice. It's very interesting because it is an Asian country, but it's very international. There's a lot of nationalities there. There's really no one nationality that stands out, I'd say. But English is one of their main languages, and it's in Asia. So I felt it was similar to Tokyo and how clean it was and how many people there were. However, everything was in English, but white people were still uncommon over there.
Okay.
So it's very weird because everyone speaks English, but white people are still uncommon over there. So after going to Hong Kong, Thailand, Japan, and everything like that, you get very accustomed to being in Asia and people not speaking English.
Right.
You get used to that. You understand you're in a different country. However, in Singapore, everyone speaks English. Everything is in English, but it's the same type of environment as those other countries. So it's very different. It's very good if you're worried about culture shock and you want to go to Asia. Great place to experience because you can get a lot of Western stuff there. It's very Westernized. It's a great country.
So you had a hell of a trip. You were everywhere. You were gone for a little over 2 weeks. And I know you've talked about that. You wanted to live. You felt one time in my life I want to live in Asia.
Yeah.
And you did your 2 weeks. Your trial. You had a ton of fun. And now what's next? Because you're going back for this semester for sort of is this just travel or is it study abroad? Or it's technically you're going through like a school program, right?
Yeah. So this is it's called the Kappa program. It's a partnership through ASU.
Yeah.
They partner with a lot of schools.
And you leave like in a week?
Yeah.
29th?
I leave on the 27th. So I believe it is 6 days
okay.
from now. About 5.5 days from now, I'll be on a flight to Shanghai right now.
Wow.
So I'm going to Shanghai, China. Shanghai, China, never been there, but I've always wanted to live abroad, and I felt studying abroad was the best way to do it because if I didn't like it, I would always be coming back.
Exactly.
I was going back and forth a lot once my business started taking off, but after working in Thailand when I was there and everything, I realized, well, I can still focus when I'm abroad, so I'll be perfectly fine over there. So yep, I leave in 6 days. It'll be a great experience living in a foreign country, especially China. China's pretty crazy. There's a lot going on there right now, first of all.
Yeah.
It's very different than America. So, I'm going to go out there. I'm going by myself. I know of someone who's actually from ASU who's going to be there.
Nice.
I've never met him in person, but been talking to him on the phone and everything, and so I'm excited. It'll be a great time. And yeah, I'll get the full international experience. I'll get to live abroad and see if I really like living in another country, especially living in China. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be pretty crazy. I'm going to see a lot of crazy stuff, I'm sure, especially in China. It's a lot different than America. Their cultural norms are not our cultural norms that we have in America. So that's something you got to be hesitant about, and you got to understand that you can't do what you do in America over there because it just won't fly. And if you get arrested in foreign countries, there's no right to a lawyer like there is in America, and they may or may not contact the embassy if you ask them to.
Right.
So if you do something that gets you into trouble, you just gotta prepare for yourself that they're not gonna be speaking to you in English, and they're not gonna be cooking you breakfast in the morning.
No, there's definitely not the what's the term, sort of the due process.
Yeah, there's no due process.
If you will, yeah, that that we're so accustomed to, and that's what really does why there's problems with everywhere, but that's one thing that really does make our country great. You get your, at least that's what the law is. That's what the rules are. That you get your due process and innocent until proven guilty. But like you mentioned, not many other places are like that.
No, exactly. And even if you're a foreigner in America, you still get the same rights as an American does.
Yeah.
So that's the crazy thing about it. So that's what you just got to realize when you go to these foreign countries is you have to make sure to study up on their laws or cultural norms before you go. You know, if you don't do anything, I'd say illegal or anything like crazy, you know, you don't go to the bars and you go to tourist attractions, hang out, walk around, nothing's ever going to happen to you. You know, all these countries are very safe. China, well, for instance, Shanghai, the city that I'm going to be in China, it's extremely safe. I will feel safer walking around there at night than I would walking around Arizona and Phoenix and stuff. Just because there's no, people really don't jump you over there. You know, there's a chance of you getting pickpocketed, maybe, but you know, that just comes with everything, you know what I mean? But if you have your phone in your pocket and everything and you're watching it, it won't be an issue. You know, it's very rare that anything actually happens to you. So as long as, you know, you treat it like you're in a different country and you treat their culture with respect, you have nothing to worry about. So I'm very excited for it. It'll be a great experience. I'll definitely be documenting a lot of it through my social media, through Instagram, through YouTube, and all that kind of stuff.
How do you like doing the YouTube stuff? It gives you a new appreciation once you start, because I've noticed that too after the internship where I've learned how to do more of the production behind the scenes stuff, like the editing and things like that. Do you sort of have, you know, I remember you talked about like you weren't sure how you were going to like it, but you like being in front of the camera a little bit more, you're more comfortable, and you really like, you know, putting the videos together. Doesn't it sort of give you a more appreciation when you're kind of putting the whole project together?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I watch a ton of YouTube. I've been watching YouTube since 6th grade. I started off watching Ray William Johnson when he would do YouTube video reviews. That guy's an OG YouTube guy for anyone who's been watching YouTube for a while.
For sure.
But I started making some YouTube videos in high school. I made 2 bodybuilding videos about me working out and my diet and all that, but I filmed it with my phone. I was a senior in high school, so there was a lot going on. I didn't really enjoy it. I felt like I was only putting content out there to make money because I saw everyone else making money.
Right.
And I was like, you know, this is the way to make money, and that was all I was focused on. But now, come 3 years later, 2019, I have a real camera. I have a job, or I wouldn't say a job, I would have a business I started that's making me good money, so I don't have to rely on YouTube and only rely on YouTube for making money. So I can put out the content I want, the content that I enjoy, and I'm not only focused on making money from it, and I'm not only focused on, okay, I have to put out exactly what people want to see. I want to put out stuff that I want to make and I want to film, and if I don't want to film it, I'm not going to film it.
And that's when you, I feel like, get the best product, because when you're not, like you said, relying on it so much, that's when it comes off more genuine and authentic. You know, you're not at the point where, oh, I got to do this just to make money, or this is what makes money, and you're sort of like selling out. Like when you're not dependent on it, and you have other things going for you, I feel like that's when, you know, you really kind of find magic and you find joy in the content that you're creating.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the biggest thing I saw from a lot of successful YouTubers is they said if you're only in this to make money, you're going to burn out extremely quick, because if you're only trying to make money from it, the first year or 2 years, it's going to take a while to get off the ground. A lot of these YouTubers didn't make money for their first 3 years doing it, you know.
Right.
But if you stay consistent on it long enough, put out quality content, you build up a solid fan base, it will slowly build upon itself and continue to grow. And then the 10 views turns into 100 views, turns into 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000.
Right.
So it just takes a long time. And you have to realize that this is not something that's going to happen overnight. Of course, if you're a celebrity or a famous athlete, you make a YouTube channel, you're going to have a pretty big fan base starting out.
For sure.
But if you're just some regular person who's trying to get a fan base out there, yeah, it's great. And my favorite thing about it is documenting my travels.
Right, yeah.
So like I said, I brought the camera out there for my trip to Thailand and Singapore and all that. And I got to film it, and watching everything 3 weeks later was fantastic. I got to relive every moment. And now it's engraved on the internet. So I'm going to be able to rewatch it 10 years from now, 5-10 years from now, and be like, wow, that was a great trip I had. I had a lot of great memories from that trip.
That's awesome. Well, Dean, it's been a pleasure catching up.
Of course.
Great to see you. Yeah, great to see you. Enjoy your trip. Have an awesome time. Do some crazy stuff so we can talk about it when you come back on the podcast again.
I'd love to be back.
Then before we sort of sign off here, plug your stuff again where people can find you and like your course and your YouTube and all that stuff so they can follow you and check you out.
Yeah, so again, just search my name, Dean, D-E-A-N, and my last name is Diepholz, D-I-E-P-H-O-L-Z. My website is deandiepholz.com, my YouTube is Dean Diepholz, and my Instagram is Dean Diepholz. If you go to my Instagram, it has my YouTube, my website, and you can see everything on there. You can keep up with my travels when I'm traveling all around China this fall, and you can also find everything that I'm going to be doing in terms of my business, and you can hit me up, ask me any questions you have in regards to my business, and I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Awesome, Dean. Keep doing the good man's work.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. So that was my sit-down interview with my good friend, Dean Deepoles, a.k.a. Mr. Gary Sanchez. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of the podcast. It was a ton of fun for me. Really looking forward to doing more of these. And, once again, guys, be sure check out Dean's social media, Dean Deepoles on Instagram. If you want to learn more about his program and just kind of follow him in all of his traveling adventures, go to that Instagram, and he has all of his other different platforms linked up right there. That's where we'll be able to find everything. So, guys, in the meantime, please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, whether you are listening on Spotify, whatever it may be. Please do that for me. It'll help me out a ton. Really appreciate it, guys. And until next time, enjoy this nice, smooth jazz.
Thank you.